Okay, today I'm gonna teach you all how to make pancakes. Pancakes are super simple, and I recommend this for anyone who's never cooked before, okay? If this is your first time in a kitchen, this is gonna be the easiest way to get into cooking. It's a great recipe, it's very tasty, it's very easy to make, super forgiving. Super forgiving, alright? So when you're making it, all you have to remember that it's a super forgiving recipe. If you screw up here and there, it doesn't really matter. Okay? It's okay if you mess up because pancakes are not made with the brain, they're made with the heart. And I'll tell you what that means later. So, your ingredients. You're gonna need maida, of course. You're gonna need milk. That's what pretty much makes your pancake. You're gonna need salt, a little bit of salt. You're gonna need some Eno. Recipes ask for baking soda. If you don't got baking soda, use Eno. It works better even. You're gonna need sugar. You're gonna need powdered sugar. If you don't have powdered sugar, get some normal sugar and just blend it, okay? Just blend it. It's very loud, works a treat though. You're gonna need butter and you're gonna need an egg. The smallest egg you can find, alright? The absolute smallest egg you can find. If you're vegetarian, you can substitute the egg for even more butter. I'll tell you how we're gonna use it later. For utensils, you're gonna need a big non-stick pan. Non-stick is very important. Size is not the most important. I prefer a larger pan so I can cook more than one at a time. You're gonna need a mixing bowl, of course, to mix your ingredients with. A whisk. If you don't have a whisk, a fork works just fine. I used a fork pretty much my entire life until I got the whisk. The whisk just does everything a fork does, but a bit faster. So if you don't got a whisk, it's not a big deal. Now you're gonna have a standard size spoon, okay? This is a standard size spoon. Everyone has a spoon. This is what we're gonna use for measuring, okay? This is the only unit of measurement we're gonna use. Everyone has a spoon. Not everyone has a weighing scale. Not everyone has a measuring cup. But if you have a spoon, that's all you're gonna need, alright? So first thing you're gonna want to do, we're gonna mix up the dry ingredients. Why we're gonna mix up the dry ingredients is because it just makes them easier to mix together when we add the milk in the end. Oh boy, that's a bit messy. So how much are we going to use? How much maida? For one person, okay, for two people, it's, what do you say? It's recommended you use 1 cup of flour. A cup is, an American cup is roughly 240 milliliters. I'm not gonna use that, I'm just gonna use a spoon. You dip your spoon in. You take a heaped teaspoon, okay, as high as it can go, okay? You put 1, dip it in again, another big heaped teaspoon or tablespoon, there's 2, here's a third, alright? That looks good, maybe a bit more, and maybe a half, okay, maybe like a half teaspoon. This might be a bit much. It doesn't matter. Put some back. Okay, this is a very forgiving recipe. The exact measurements are not that important. Now you're gonna get your sugar, your salt. Okay, get 1 spoon of salt. That's it. The what do you say? The order which I'm putting these ingredients in is not that important, okay? It doesn't matter when you put what, as long as you put it in. You can even put things after, you can put some dry ingredients even after you put the milk in. It doesn't matter at all. Now I'm gonna get my sugar. I hope y'all can see this. Okay. I'm gonna have to put this sugar in. Somehow. Okay, whatever. No, it's not gonna work, is it? Just put some sugar down, put it in the cap. How much sugar you want to use is completely up to you. I'm not the biggest fan of sweet things, so I tend to put a bit less sugar. But still, it's baking. You always put more sugar than you think you want. That's around 1 Nescafe cap worth of sugar going in. I'm going to put a bit more. From experience, I can tell that a little bit of sugar extra never hurts. If your pancakes are too sweet, just top them off with butter after you've done, and the bit of sweetness will get cancelled. If they're not sweet enough, you can always put honey as a topping, and that helps with the sweetness. So we have our sugar, salt, maida, and now we're gonna want our Eno. Eno is gonna make the things or pancakes fluffy. Now, of course, the question comes that, okay, Eno has taste in it, right? It tastes like something. It's not neutral like baking soda or anything. So what do you do for that? It doesn't matter, okay? You're not gonna taste it. This is quite a bit of flour. You're not gonna taste this Eno. Okay? You see this much Eno? This is like half a spoon worth of Eno. Put it in. You're done. Take your fork or whisk, and now what you're gonna do is you're gonna mix it. Why you're mixing it now when it's dry is because when you add the liquid, things are gonna start to clump together. And if all your things come in the same clumps, it's not gonna be as mixed as you want it. So you're gonna want to mix it around. And plus, if your sugar has clumped up, like mine has, this is the only chance, this is the best chance you're gonna get to beat it. To make them a bit smaller. Of course, it doesn't matter if they're completely powdered. That's not entirely important. It's all gonna get dissolved anyway, just fine. Just give it a good mix. Yeah, okay, this looks good. Yeah, this looks mixed enough. Now what I want to do is gonna add milk. Now the trick to adding milk is you're gonna do it slowly, because if you put too much milk, you can always add some more flour to compensate. Problem is you have to eat that extra flour. Can you actually eat that extra flour? Not always. Forgot my egg, but of course it doesn't exactly matter when you put it. I'm gonna put it now. I'm gonna have to crack this egg. I can't crack an egg with one hand, so I'll just... There we go. Egg is cracked. If you haven't cracked an egg before, feel free to use a butter knife, okay? Just get your butter knife, whack it in the middle. You're gonna get a nice big, like a canyon or something. Then you put your fingers through the canyon and you just open it up, alright? It's not too hard to crack an egg. It does require a bit of experience. Without that, because you can never learn how to crack an egg. You can only just figure it out. How much force it needs for every person is completely unique to that person. We're not going to beat in our egg yet, otherwise we're going to end up making pasta. So we're just going to add a bit of milk. Add a more generous quantity in the start because you want to get everything, I guess, mixed up. Gonna mix it all together. Always get the edges, because that's always a problem with these bowls I'm using. At the edges, sometimes they do not get incorporated. They get left out. Just gonna mix it together. Get this egg nicely mixed in. Of course, if you don't eat eggs, you can use butter. Make sure to soften the butter, okay? Microwave your butter in the microwave, of course, for 10 seconds twice, not 20 seconds once, because it takes a while for the microwave to heat up properly, okay, to get the real high temperatures. And if you do it for 20 seconds once, it's gonna be too hot towards the end, and you might burn something. So do it 10 seconds twice. It'll heat up enough so that it gets melted. At the same time, it won't heat up. You'll never get the microwave enough time to properly get into gear. Okay, now you look at this consistency. It's a bit thick. You do not want this thickness. You want it to be slightly thinner. So we're going to put some more milk. Little bit, splash at a time. Okay, that's how much milk I put. Maybe 2 spoons of milk. I'm going to mix that in. Now Now this looks good. Now this looks good. So now comes the more optional steps, of course. I like my pancakes. Okay, there's a bit of dry spots here in the edges. I can't. But yeah, and those got mixed in. So now what you're gonna do is put some vanilla extract. If you don't have vanilla extract, I don't think it really makes much of a difference. Honestly, you can put if you want. Otherwise, pancake's gonna be a pancake. How much do you put? Completely up to you. I like putting a lot because I like vanilla. Uh-oh, that's a problem. Whatever. So now we're gonna, okay, let me wash my hands. Yeah, hands washed. We're good. Mix in your vanilla. It smells great, actually. Wow. Only reason why I put vanilla is because it smells incredible. If you don't have vanilla, doesn't matter. Your stomach can't smell anything. Only your nose can. So now, okay. Now comes another optional step. If you want to put chocolate chips in your pancakes like me, now is the time. Now since everything is liquid, it's going to be much easier to mix them in thoroughly. I use these chocolate chips I have. Okay. Now comes with in the starting of the video, I think I said you measure with the heart, not the mind. What that basically means is that this is not healthy food. So you don't have to worry about what crap you're putting in here, man. You're eating this to make your heart happy, not your mind. So just keep on just putting all the things you want. Now of course I don't have enough chocolate chips. I like having quite a few. If you don't have chocolate chips, feel free to use gems. I'm pretty sure it works just the same. Okay, that's a problem. Oh, an orange one, nice. It's red, I think. Put some gem. Okay, another orange one, that's good. One more, another one. Oh, this is a good one. It's a nice packet of gems, a lot of orange ones. So, why we're putting gems? Well, because they're tasty, okay? There's no reason to put gems. This is not healthy food. Don't worry if it's too much sugar, guys. Let's be real here. If you're too worried about sugar, don't make pancakes in the first place. Put some more gems. Mix them all together. Don't worry about the color bleeding or anything, because that does not matter. Literally, nothing matters. Okay, this is nicely mixed. This is a very nice watery, I say it's thin. Now you want a thin pancake dough. Otherwise, if it's too thick, it won't spread. If it doesn't spread, it doesn't cook well. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna ignite the gas stove. Where is my igniter? Where is my igniter? It's not underneath there. Yeah, this is a bit scuffed, isn't it? Wanted to make a one-take video because I do not know how to edit. Where is my igniter? Huh, where is it? Okay, I'll just use matches, whatever. I suggest you don't use matches for this, because they're not as safe as an igniter. But honestly, man, desperate time call for desperate measures. Stove is on. Put your pan. I'm gonna let it heat up for a while. It needs to be kind of hot. Heat it up on high flame. After that, we're gonna bring it down to medium, okay? Medium flame is where you do most of your cooking. So that's a tip. In case you're confused as to what temperature you use, always just use medium. Works all the time. I'm gonna get a bit of butter on the pan, only a slight amount of butter, because I'm not gonna put butter when I put underneath my pancakes, and you'll see why later. I'm only putting this butter to tell me how hot this pan is. Just gonna put it here. It's melting. It's not melting quick enough. The pan is still cold. It's gonna take a couple minutes for it to heat up. It's not a couple seconds. It's on the edge. If you bring the butter to the center where all the heat is. Okay, and now it's getting hotter, this pan is. Always cook on medium, remember that. If it's chicken, go for low. Otherwise, medium works for absolutely everything. And if you have a bigger pan, of course, you're going to need more heat to get it hot. Alright, so all these ingredients I used and the order I put them in is not important. As long as you have flour, milk, and sugar, as long as you have flour, milk, and sugar, you can make a pancake. You can use Eno or baking soda or baking powder to make them fluffy, but you're still going to make a pancake is still a pancake if it's not fluffy. It's a bit blasphemous what I said, but it works. Salt, of course, you always put salt when you're cooking. Doesn't even matter why. Honestly, the only reason why we put salt is because since we've eaten so much salt, if there's no salt in food, our brain just thinks that something's missing. So yeah, it's placebo if anything. Now this might look a bit watery to you, but once you put it on the pan, you'll see. Give the pan a couple more seconds. Now it's time to get your ladle. What size ladle you want? I just use, I don't know, any random ladle. Okay, pan's getting hot. I'm going to turn down the heat to medium. And I'm gonna take my ladle, 1 scoop of batter. Come on, give me some of my gems and stuff. 1 scoop of batter. See, if it was too thick, you wouldn't get it, it would not spread that well. And you want it to spread, because if it doesn't spread and you get too thick, the middle will not cook enough. So you get raw in the middle. And if you try to cook the middle enough, you'll end up burning the edges. So, let's let it cook. Now, when is it going to be done? You'll see the edges of the pancake, you see the bubbles are there. That's because of our Eno. But they're going to start drying out eventually. Once they become dry, then you'll know the bottom is cooked. And then you can flip it. Okay, so you're getting more and more bubbles. More and more bubbles. That's good. That's where our fluffiness lies. More and more bubbles. Okay, now you see it's going to be very slight, but the edges are going to start to dry out. Now I'm going to get my plate. And you're going to want to get your spatula, of course. You cannot flip a pancake if you don't have anything to flip it with. Some people can just flip the pan and flip a pancake. I can do it too, but it's a very heavy pan. I don't want to make any terrible mistakes. Okay, so the edges are beginning to dry out. You'll see it. And once they dry out, okay, look at them bubbles, okay? Once it dries out, slowly pick it up. We didn't put butter, and you'll see why now. This is why you want to use a non-stick pan, of course. Now I've dried out quite a bit, but it doesn't matter, okay? Now you're gonna flip it, and look at that beautiful color. That is what you want to see. That amazing brown color. I like my pancakes a bit darker than usual, But see the part which was in contact with the butter over there? That part is much lighter than the rest. So that's why I cook my pancakes without butter. Much better, much prettier color. So yeah, since the pancake is dried out on the edges, that means it's almost cooked. So just give it a couple seconds. You're gonna get a bit of steam. Your pan is starting to cool down now, remember that. We took it off high and put it on medium. So now it's gonna be much more, well, I guess not that hot. So now burning's not gonna happen. And we're done. Look at that. Perfect pancake. Plate it up. And just continue. Just use your batter, use your pan, make your pancakes, and you're good. If you're gonna stack them, always remember to stack them high. That prevents the heat loss, alright? So that was my one take video explanation on how to make a good pancake.